The other allowed me to get a nice little night's sleep.
I look forward to having you explain the first one for me. 'Cause I'm curious. Because it can't be that those dudes are that good defensively.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Oh, I'm glad to hear you
sure.
say that because
Just making sure.
Because
I hadn't late nights, both game one and game two. I hadn't seen any of it. And when I have late nights, that means I don't wake up randomly in the middle of the night to watch something.
Oh, you sleep like a normal person.
Yes, I sleep like a normal person.
That's so sweet.
It's awful. So I hadn't had a chance to really sit down and like put my CJ eyes on it. But I refuse to believe that is all.
It's not
defense. Okay,
it's not.
Cool.
It's a whole lot of. Wow, this is a collapse. This is a collapse. What is the song?
Yeah.
The song is the opposite of what Celtics fans are having today. It's Best Day Ever by Mac
SpongeBob?
Miller. No, by Mac Miller.
Oh, okay.
Got me cheesing from cheek to cheek. And I ain't gonna wait for nothing. That ain't my time.
You kind of trailed off there at the end.
Life couldn't get better. This is gonna be the best day ever.
All right, that's a keep.
R.I.P. Mac.
I'm not even writing that one down.
It's an obvious keep.
I'm not writing that down.
Record it for history.
Really?
Recording history is important.
Speaking of that, did you see the Hamilton soundtrack is getting preserved by the National Congress Library of Music or whatever it is called? What's that place called? The ones that preserve
I know
things?
what you're talking about, but I don't know what it's called. It is called the
National
Library of Congress.
There we go.
Has digitized Hamilton. Hey, speaking of shows getting digitized, PBS Great Performances comes back tonight, and I'm really on my PBS business right now. Save PBS, it's important. It doesn't come tonight, sorry, it's tomorrow.
Wait,
I keep thinking today's Friday.
What is it?
Great Performances, they film like pro shots of musicals, and then they preserve them forever so you can see them without having seen them in the theater.
Oh!
Yeah, what's up everybody? It is Thursday, May 8th. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass coming up on today's show. They did it again. The Knicks come back down 20 to go up 2-0 on the Celtics. Thunder blew out the Nuggets. We will get into all the NBA action from last night. Teresa Walker will join us in the second segment. We'll get her thoughts on the NBA playoffs, the Grizzlies coaching hire, plus a really eventful week in college sports with the White House stepping in to create a new commission on college athletics that reportedly will include Nick Saban as its leader. I can't wait for Teresa to explain all of that to us. It is Thursday. That means it is draft day, and we are drafting the most nerve-wracking things to happen in sports, things that produce the largest I'm going to puke feelings imaginable. That'll be in the third segment. We'll end with some Theater Thursday, movie news from the week. CJ and I both watched the Oklahoma City bombing documentary. CJ saw Thunderbolts, and let me tell you, he has some thoughts. I've heard them. There's a lot of them. It is Thursday. You know what we say. Still no Pope. Still no Pope.
Are you ready? Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 Doors Down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of '99 tour.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Double your chances to win all month long in March with 2 big promotions. On Fridays, embrace the madness and win a share of $150,000 in cash and free play. On Saturdays, starting March 8th, go for the gold and win your share of up to $10,000 in cash and free play in the 80K Fool's Gold giveaway. Enjoy live entertainment all month long and play for your chance to win big in March only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
The other thing that came out this week that we were talking about innovation and Nike and all that, they dropped these $900 hyper boots that
900.
I mean, they're a recovery shoe apparently that you wear after sports, whatever.
Who's buying it? Because all the athletes that we see, they're going to get seated this. So who's going to actually pay $900 for this?
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
I thought Penny was smart to handle this the way he handled it. He expressed frustration with the system, the chaotic nature of it. The price hike on eggs ain't got nothing on the price hike on basketball players. The same dude who cost you $150,000 last summer is costing you $500,000 right now. I understand his sentiment, but he stopped well short of criticizing PJ Haggerty.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, ay. Let's have a little fun now. Ay. I wanna let it all out. Ay. That's what it's all about. Ay. Ay. 'Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday, almost Friday. I am rested because finally we had a blowout in a conference semifinal game last night. The Thunder went up 31 at half on the Nuggets, and I was like, okay, I am safe. I can close my little eyes. I did have a creeping feeling of, yeah, but what if? What if? Because I had to say what if, CJ, because I also had that thought while I was watching the Celtics-Knicks game just a smidgen earlier in the evening, and when the Celtics went up 20 towards the end of the third quarter, I was like, certainly they're not going to do it again. Certainly the Celtics aren't going to give up another 20-point lead to the Knicks at home. So we as a family decided we were going to catch up on The Last of Us, which we hadn't watched from this Sunday. And at one point, Chris had to take a break to answer some messages, and he was like, do you want me to turn the game back on? Because he's our remote control controller. And at first I said, no, I'm gonna read a little bit. And then I said, oh, well, I'm gonna just look at the score. It's a 6-point game. 6-point game with 5 minutes. I'm like, turn that game back on. And so we flippy-do onto Celtics-Knicks, and I can't believe my eyeballs because I proceed to watch the Celtics indeed do it again. They did it again. They gave up a 20-point lead to the New York Knicks. As this is the final sequence, Jalen Brunson makes the free throw. He made the last 6 points for the Knicks in this game. And Jason Tatum has the ball. Are they going to call a timeout? Nope. Are they going to run the exact same play that they just ran? Oh, absolutely. Look at that defense by Mitchell Robinson and Jason Tatum. Nope. A little double block action by OG, by McHale. The game is over. The Celtics lose 91-90. That is the 5th 20-point comeback of this year's playoffs. And the thing about 20-point comebacks, in these kind of situations, when you have a team, let me put it this way. When you have a 20-point lead evaporate, you can call it two things. You can call it a 20-point comeback, or you can call it a meltdown. And I was going to ask you, CJ, was it a comeback or a meltdown, but you didn't watch. So I'm going to tell you, it was a meltdown. It was a meltdown. Yes, it was absolutely a meltdown from the Celtics, because I will argue we have not even seen the Knicks play a great game. Like, yes, you have Mikal Bridges with 14 points in the fourth quarter. How many points did he have coming into the fourth quarter? 0. And he's taking contested shots. Like, it's shots that you would assume the Celtics want him to be taking. Jalen Brunson has 9 points in the fourth quarter, but ultimately, in the entirety of the game, how many points does Jalen Brunson have last night? 17. So he had 8 going into the fourth quarter. But when you are the Boston Celtics, who have now, in 2 fourth quarters, the Boston Celtics have made 9 total field goals in the last 2 fourth quarters. That ain't good. That's bad. Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges, they've combined for 12. So 2 players have scored more than the entire team for the Celtics in the fourth quarters of these last 2 games. And in game 2 alone, they go up 20. And yes, it was a sensible thing to assume that there was no way the Celtics could perform as poorly as they had the day before, or two days before. But the Celtics went 5 of 28 from the field after going up 20. They went 2 of 14 from 3, and they had 6 turnovers. I do not know how you can look at that and not say it is a choke job by the Celtics. They missed 13 straight shots.
13 straight shots. What were the shots?
All shots.
Okay, so they weren't just kicking it at the three-point line.
They weren't all threes.
No,
and that was the thing early on. Like, watching the beginning of this game, it felt like they had more variety to their offense, both in variety of players finding ways to score and getting to the basket, finding the mid-range, taking some threes. But when you look at it again, they were 10 of 40 from 3 in this game. They have missed 73s in the last 2 games.
Okay, how much of that is defense?
Not enough. Because
Okay.
I watched Jason Tatum on that 13th straight miss. It was a Jason Tatum quarter 3 that absolutely should have gone in. I think it was Derek White gives up a good shot. They pass it, to have one more pass for a great shot, and Tatum misses. And I hate to be the person who perpetuates this conversation, but Jason Tatum has to be better.
What do you mean? Why would you hate to be the person to point out when a...
Because I feel like everybody is dogging on Jason Tatum right now, so it just feels a little excessive, but it's appropriate.
Okay.
It's absolutely appropriate.
Again, don't feel bad for that. You got to put that on the chart, right? Like, put it on the chart. Come on, man.
Let me fire up my therapy chart and say, dear therapist, today I felt bad being the 873rd person
to
point out that Jason Tatum, he just doesn't have it in these kind of situations. And I was shocked to see this stat that, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be shocked, but it just solidified what you feel like you see. And this is just from 3. But in 3-point attempts between playoffs and the Olympics since the 2023 Eastern Conference Finals, Jason Tatum is 66 of 237. That's 27%. That is not superstar material. That is not leader of a team material. And here we are this week having these conversations both about Jalen Brunson in this exact series, but also in Tyrese Halliburton having the ability to step up in critical moments for the Pacers and come up clutch. And not every player has the clutch gene, but if you are the leader of that team, there has to be more trust. And Jason Tatum had every opportunity. Now, I don't think he was helped by the fact that they didn't call a timeout. And I don't understand why they're running the exact same play twice in a row. And kudos to Mitchell Robinson. He was a huge difference maker last night for the Knicks. And if you look at reasons why I felt and many thought that the Celtics would easily handle the Knicks is because you look at the regular season series between these teams, and they were really able to pick on Karl Anthony Towns a lot, and they ramrolled them through the regular season. But not last night, and not in game 1. And it's not even because the Knicks are playing this spectacular brand of basketball. What the Knicks do, they're tough. They're the kind of team you love. They don't give up. They fight. They're physical. They get into it. And next thing you know, you're like, how the hell did they just come back and win this game?
How are they getting back into these games? Are they standing around just hoisting threes?
No.
Okay. All right, that's good.
But they are making contested shots.
Oh, making tough shots.
So making tough shots, getting in the basket. I mean, they're not taking a bunch of free throws. They took 8 free throws last night. They're getting rebounds. But they were out-rebounded last night.
They're just playing.
They're getting second chance
They're
points,
down
but they were
20 and
out
they,
second chance points last night.
They get down 20 and they continue to just play basketball. They don't start pressing.
That's
They
a great way
don't
to put
start
it.
hoisting bad shots and taking
The Knicks play
contested
basketball.
threes. Okay.
And the Celtics stop playing basketball. And if one team is playing basketball and the other team is not playing basketball, it's a little bit easier to give up a 20-point lead. And I'm not trying to say that 20 points is this critical mass. In today's NBA, 20 points is easily evaporated.
F that. 20 points in the fourth quarter you should not lose.
This was third quarter.
Okay, 20 points in the third quarter.
And it was like 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
Oh, no, you shouldn't. 20 minutes, 5 minutes and less in the third quarter, you shouldn't be losing those types of games. No. No, and in reading the things that I've read about the series and seeing did you read the chat?
I just read the chat.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in there.
I'm so confused.
I don't. This is weird.
Also, it's really odd because it's coming from a Sharon, and both of our moms are Sharons. And
I'm pretty sure this is a Daryl. I have no clue what's going on.
Continue on with your thought.
Whatchamacallit? The things that I've read, the things that I've seen, the clips that I've seen pop off on Twitter and from experts who are talking about it, it seems to me like the Celtics have, to your point about just simply playing basketball, I guess my point that you backed up or whatever, the Celtics lean so much on the analytics of this game right now, where it is the best shot, the only shot worth taking is the three-pointer. Let's get a bunch of dudes, spread them out all over the court. Eventually, we'll get open looks at the three and just play the percentages. Enough threes will fall in and we'll make enough of them and we'll be good to go. And when you get up 20 late in games, it becomes a bit of that, like, know the time and the score, know the situation, understand what basketball is, and play basketball situationally to that point. Yes, it's gotten you up by this much. Sure, great, grand, good. Now it's the fourth quarter. Start taking some of the air out of the ball. Stop trying to hoist all of the threes. Get downhill, get to the basket, finish around the rim. I don't understand why the Celtics haven't done that, admittedly.
I don't, and that's where I just wonder if it's because they've relied on it so much. And we just saw a similar situation with the Cavs, and I don't want to put the two together because the Cavs are down 3 of their 5 best players, and so it's a very different situation, but they couldn't hit a 3. And like when you can't hit threes and you rely heavily on hitting threes, it's like your brain breaks down the stretch and you don't know how to adapt and how to get to the basket. But the Celtics at least attempted to get to the basket last night. Like, it's not like they were solely reliant on the 3. But I was listening to them talk after the game, and Jason Tatum didn't take the podium because, there was a fire alarm at TD Garden last night.
He pulled it. He pulled it. He pulled it.
What cartoon was it where someone pulled the fire alarm? Was it Doug? And they had like peanut butter on their hands, and that's how they traced it back to the person who pulled the fire alarm.
It sounds like
that's
either
in my brain somewhere.
Doug or Recess, one of those type cartoons. Did you ever pull the fire alarm?
No.
Did y'all ever do the the fire alarm? Okay.
Often. Did you ever pull the fire alarm?
No, never that.
I feel like there was like a streak where that was like the cool thing to do.
Crime.
Yes. And then they sat us down at an assembly and they brought like a police officer in and was like, the next person who does this is going to jail. And I look back and I'm like, no, you wouldn't. You could go to juvie. They threatened that they were going to put like a substance on it where if you, it would explode. So it would like shoot paint at you. Okay. I don't know if that was true, but they told us it was.
I don't think that's true.
It's like when you pee in the pool and they're like, it's going to turn blue.
No, it just turns yellow. And everybody sees it. No, it does. It does.
Anyway,
we all see you peeing in the pool, Jessica.
Listening to the Celtics talk, I just felt like I feel like there's a level of concern because they feel like they're playing good basketball and it's just not producing a win. Like there's not something that they're doing devastatingly wrong. They're just not winning and they're not scoring at a rate where they're able to keep up with, they're defending well, but the Knicks are making good shots. And I do think the Knicks were so battle-tested in that first-round matchup against the Pistons that I was listening to Monica McNutt speak on it this morning, and she was saying that, if they hadn't been in the type of games that they were in against Detroit, she's not sure that this Knicks team would have been poised to deliver the 2 comebacks that they did against the Celtics. And she is on the Knicks broadcast staff, so she watches them all season long because we talked about it throughout the year. The Knicks were kind of the Grizzlies of the East. Like, they did not find ways to beat the good teams. They rose in the Eastern Conference standings because of beating bad teams. They beat the teams they were supposed to beat. But anytime they went up against one of the juggernauts, be it the Celtics or the Thunder or a team like that, they lost constantly. And now they're finding ways to win, which is just such a difference in the postseason. And now they're playing with confidence. And now they're going home to Madison Square Garden. And that building is going to be insane come Game 3. This was the first time the first time that the NBA has had two 60-win teams face a 2-0 deficit. I'm sorry, it's the first time it ever happened, and they have two because it's the Cavs and the Celtics in that situation. Also, what's going on with Kristaps Porzingis? That is a piece of this because he's not well. He played a little bit last night, but he spoke afterwards like he's sick, and he was sick back in March, and it feels like it's something that has lingered onward. So that does provide a difference for Boston, but it shouldn't be a continuously blowing 20 points.
Much like Evan Mobley being out for the Cavs.
Makes a big difference.
I understand that. Get the damn rebound if you're the Cavs. And Celtics stop blowing 20-point leads. While, yes, it does make a difference. You are up big in both of those games, and you're in control of those games until late. That is on those players out there on the court, not on the teams missing pretty big pieces. I understand that they're out. If they were out and it was a back and forth game the entire time, then I'd be, okay, let's talk about it. If they were out and it was the Celtics or the Cavs trying to storm back and just not having enough to get across the finish line, okay, I'd understand that as well. But for both of these teams to be up and in control of games until late, that's not on dudes being out. That's dudes on the court not executing and not meeting the moment.
That chat's a wild place right now.
Listen, let's go to a break so I can get to it.
Before we go to Teresa, the Thunder Nuggets game was a game that actually happened. Thunder win, 149-106. The Thunder scored 87 points in the first half, and I was like, sweet. Another team on the opposite side of bad history playing the Thunder. Like, game one, from a Grizzlies fan standpoint, I enjoyed watching the Thunder win a game or lose a game in inexplicable fashion. And game two, I kind of enjoyed another team getting punked to the degree that we witnessed the Grizzlies get punked in their first round series against the Thunder. And punked was the word that David Adelman used following the Nuggets loss. Jokic was a minus 36. He fouled out in the third quarter. SGA, 34 points, 11 of 13 shooting, 11-11 from the line, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. We wondered how the Thunder would respond back after being punched in the face. And they responded well. I don't think this series is over one bit, but it was a good response from Oklahoma City last night. And I was grateful that we're able to get a little bit of sleep because all the games prior to last night had been back-to-back bangers. All right, we'll take a quick break. Teresa Walker is going to join us on the other side. We'll get her take on the NBA playoffs, on the Grizzlies coaching hire, plus some college football, college sports news that popped off this week as well. That's when we come back.
What is going on in the chat right now?
I don't know, but now she says my hair looks amazing.
We're going to do our pick six favorite Outkast songs in honor of Outkast being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Elevators is the most creative.
Me and you.
Yes. Your mama and your cousin too.
And I can't. Every time I hear somebody say me and you, I
just go to the next one, right?
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
With a knockaway. Good defense. Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting. Let's go.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
I got some Cam Ward news for you, by the way.
Let me hear it.
You talk about being able to sell some jerseys. 7 minutes ago at his introductory press conference in Nashville, Warren Moon walks in I give you permission to wear number 1.
Oh, wow.
He hands him the number 1 jersey.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm going to give you permission to wear number 1. So he's going to have the number 1 Cam Ward jersey.
That's amazing.
We're rocking the Cam Ward number 1 Titans jersey.
That's amazing.
Baby.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
This week, we're going to run down the hits and the misses from WrestleMania 41.
The main event, NXT title on the line, Obafemi versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. One of the greatest triple threat matches I've ever seen in my life.
I'm shocked.
And it made history because it's the first time there's 3 black men highlighting the NXT pay-per-view.
Okay.
That was dope too.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
How about Mr. Irrelevant coming from the Memphis Tigers? Yeah, how about that? New England Patriots
Second
took
time.
Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor with the 257th overall pick.
If you're the player getting drafted at that spot, it's almost better to go undrafted and pick a place as an undrafted free agent to sign with where you have a better chance
But
of
you get a
sticking.
lot of stuff. You get a parade. I think
do?
you go to Disneyland, I believe.
Mr. Irrelevant goes to Disney?
I think so.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We talked a little bit about Jalen Wells. Jalen Wells, man, he finished 3rd in the balloting for NBA Rookie of the Year. He's going to be back. He's going to play in Summer League, and maybe he'll shoot some left-handed jumpers out there. Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back. It is Thursday. That means it's time to catch up with one of our favorites, Teresa Walker. She joins us now. Teresa, how are you this fine morning?
I'm good. I just feel because of the cloudiness of the day that I'm coming to you from the Bat Cave.
Our clouds have finally lifted. It was really foggy when I woke up. I couldn't see anything out my windows, but apparently we're into the sunny part of the day here, so hopefully the sunshine will find you soon. I need to tell our wonderful director, Jacob, I just sent him a fantastic art but make it sports picture, if he can grab, that we will eventually get to with you, because I feel like you will appreciate it as much as I did during the break.
I follow that account.
Did you see the one on the blocked Tatum shot from last night?
No, I have not seen that one. So,
Look at Jacob.
That is.
And the name of the piece, Massacre in Boston. How does he do it? I do not know.
Whoever runs this account is just brilliant, because the art but make it sports, it brings, I mean, we're in the sports area, but to see the art and see what pieces correlate to a specific moment in sports, this person is just on point. And expanding. I'm an art lover. I mean, I grew up in the city of Chicago, going to the Art Institute, and when I go on vacation, I find the art museums there to go to. But that account is just beautiful, and if you're not following it, follow it, because it's amazing how they find a piece that fits that moment. I don't know how they do it. It's almost like either they have a great search engine or an encyclopedic knowledge of art.
The Knicks' comeback win over the Celtics last night was the 5th 20-point comeback of this year's NBA playoffs. Have you been enjoying the playoff action? Have you felt more enticed than normal to try to make sure you don't miss a game because of just how chaotic they've all felt?
I've been paying close attention because, I mean, it's the 20-point leads that have been blown. It's been insane. And what the Knicks have done, 94%, 99%, it's a win, and then down 7 in game 1 in the final minute, and they come back and leave with the win. I mean, it's almost, the 5 overall comebacks from 20 points more down are the most in postseason in play-by-player era, according to my colleague Josh Dubow. And it's like, that's just insane. Yeah. And now the Knicks have got 2 of those comebacks by 20 or more points. I mean, it's like, don't tell me the odds. Don't tell me how much I'm down. I mean, when OKC got up last night, it's like, they're getting into that dreaded 20-point era. So yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the NBA, the NHL playoffs to see what's happening because sports makes you pay attention like nothing else because you just don't know what's going to happen any given moment. And that's never been more true. And I just wanted to see a live cam on Paul Pierce and see if he actually did. I saw him do the, what it would take to walk home the 20 miles to his house in LA. But, ooh, baby.
Yeah,
that should have been a...
They should have a live cam on him today because he said yesterday on their show that if he was so confident in the Celtics bouncing back to win game 2, that if they lost, he would walk to work in his robe with no shoes on barefoot through Los Angeles to get to the office. And so now I think it has to happen because that's living up to the bets that you set in this world. And you want to know what? I bet they do a bit on it, Teresa. I bet they actually do something. He might not walk the whole 8 hours, but I bet there's some walking footage that comes out today.
Well, that's the thing. Wouldn't we expect him to be able to walk a little faster except for red lights and stuff? Yeah. I mean, this should be given OJ and the Bronco coverage is what I'm thinking.
Bring out the chopper.
Let's bring out the chopper, and the chopper can do laps. May have to refuel a few times, but I mean, why not? That or just give him a GoPro and check in with him live.
Yeah. In the last 48 hours, Celtics had a 98% win probability in game 1 and lost. Celtics had a 99 win percent probability in game 2 and lost. Thunder had a 98 win probability in game 1 and lost. And the Cavs had a 98 win probability in game 2 and lost. So hopefully things continue to be as entertaining as they have been. Since we last caught up with you, Teresa, the Memphis Grizzlies officially named their new head coach, Tomas Isolo. He gets the interim tag removed. What is one thing that you are most interested in finding out about Coach Isolo?
To see if he can get this team to max. I don't care about him so much. I just want to see what the results are on the court. I mean, that's what anybody wants, right? Mm-hmm. Can they get back to playing the defense that we saw them play at times, this group, much of this group, this core, and see them play defense. We know they can play offense. We need to see them quit giving up, talking about double-digit 20-point leads and watching them evaporate. I mean, that's something that Memphis made it was almost like a roller coaster. It's like, oh, they're up, oh, they're down, oh, they're back up, and they're down. So it's like, get rid of that. Go out and show that this group is maturing. And let's see what the front office does to tweak this roster to provide a little bit of help. But go out there and show that you can. I mean, what are the Warriors doing? How did they close out that game the other night without Steph because of the hamstring? Defense. I know it's insane to say that in the NBA that defense still matters, but the Knicks showed last night that it matters. Why? They took the ball away on a chance when Jason Tatum's got a chance to just simply score a layup and win the game, and they took the ball away.
We can't use the word simply score a layup with Jason Tatum in an opportunity to win the game at this point.
True. He's getting close to Tony Allen territory with layups. No offense, Tony. Love you. First team all defense, but the layups were fun to watch. The attempts. And love Tony. But that's the thing. It's like you can't play defense, play offense, watch this group mature, because for so much of the season we thought that they were locked into a home court advantage, and the first round showed us why home court matters. You need to start on your home court so that you can, especially in the West. I mean, look at what we've got, a 6 and 7 seed playing in Minnesota and Golden State. That's a point to the caliber of talent throughout the West. So you got to have home court to start so that you at least have friendly fans in the stands for the first 2 games, any edge you can get. And you do that by how you play through the season, and that gets you ready for the postseason. And it still feels like this roster is trying to figure out how to stay healthy. And, it's like this, we got to take care of that. We got to play offense. We got to play defense. Guys, it's time to put it together.
Yeah. And we won't know if it's put together for a fairly long time. So now there's a certain level of patience.
Well, next April.
Exactly.
Next April.
Teresa, it feels a little bizarre to be talking about college football here in May, but it is the sport that never sleeps, college sports. And the House settlement is the legal battle that never sleeps as they continue to try to work towards a conclusion there. We also got the emergence of this presidential appointed commission. The report on that came out that Donald Trump was trying to work in a place of having some sort of an executive order that could designate what they're doing with NIL, just what the sport needs, another board. But this board, according to various reporting, will be headed by Nick Saban. What do you make of all this, Teresa? And do you have confidence in Donald Trump and Nick Saban coming together to fix NIL regulations moving forward?
Well, have they filed a brief with the judge that's hearing the House settlement? Is this commission going, is the NCAA, is any of the Power Four conference commissioners said, yeah, we'll consider what they say? I mean, let's face the facts. The president spoke at Alabama last week. Nick Saban introduced him. It feels like this idea came from there. Nick talked about NIL and how he'd still be coaching if not for. Nick didn't have any problem with the money in college football until he suddenly started having to deal with players who could make business decisions with money in their pockets. And then he quit. So he was more than fine taking the multi-million-dollar. I mean, how many years was he the highest paid football coach in college sports? I mean, seriously.
Highest paid government employee in the state of Alabama is always the football coach, either at Alabama or Auburn. And Nick Saban, up until his retirement, was routinely the highest paid government employee in the state. But go ahead. Go off, Nick. You got it, player.
I know. It's like now he's got a problem with it. Where were you when he didn't have any problems cashing those checks? And now that players are cashing them and have freedom, should there be rules? Yes. But the problem is that the NCAA has not, they've been saying for years, Congress take the wheel, and Congress is Congress, I mean, let's be honest. So, and they shouldn't be having to come down here and clean up college athletics. Maybe deal with the antitrust situations that they've given them for TV negotiations and things like that. But now there's reports of the Power Four conferences coming together, and reports that ESPN wants and will give the SEC more money if there's a 9th conference football game. And Lord, I think we would all rather see even Tennessee play Vanderbilt rather than Tennessee play Chattanooga or Austin Peay. So that's where, and that's where the value is. Fans are going to benefit. And yes, you know what? That's going to generate what? More money. And the problem is all these folks are like, wait a minute, the athletes want in on this. How do we fix this? This is what the athletes asking for their share is what's prompted all this. Oh my, college sports is failing. Nobody complained when the coaches were the only ones getting paid officially.
But what do we do, Teresa? Because it just feels like we're stuck in purgatory right now. Like there is no actual movement. The NIL deals there's no regulation, which fine. From the standpoint of athletes making as much money as they can, I will always stand on that side. But it does feel as if there has to be something that ultimately happens where it's not endless transfers, endless money chasing for both. And I want to make that clear, for both coaches and for players. They should be under the exact same kind of employment structures. And I guess I answer my own question because, in my opinion, this doesn't end until we officially recognize college athletes as employees.
And that's what they are, because I mean they go work. I mean, I was at the NCAA convention where they passed the 20-hour-a-week rule, which seems just ridiculous in hindsight. They were trying to put in some rules so that coaches couldn't abuse them, but then the money started flowing in ever more. And yes, they are employees, and they're going to have to admit that. And maybe the situation is as simple as contracts. And if you want to transfer, then guess what? There's a buyout.
Right.
Tom Mars, who was involved with the Spire Group and the Nico Ayama deal with Tennessee, guess what? He's now representing Arkansas, suing Nico's younger brother because Nico tried to go from UCLA to Arkansas, is now heading back to UCLA. And it's like, well, excuse me, you can't take all that money with you as you go that you were given to come to Arkansas. So, part of that, the marketplace itself seems to be instituting some rules. And until they, that's the thing. If a coach can leave and has to pay a buyout, guess what? Maybe that's the simplest thing for athletes, pay a buyout. And yeah, the never-ending cycle. There's guys that are on their 3rd and 4th schools. It's like, seriously, dude, if you can't settle in after 1 year, what makes you think the grass really is greener on the 4th school of your career. I mean, seriously, if I'm your future spouse, I'm looking at that commitment as an issue.
Red flag. Absolutely a red flag. Teresa, another, call it hot issue of the moment that I wanted to get your take on. AI continues to pop up in just the strangest ways. And I saw yesterday that NBA on NBC is obviously really leaning into the nostalgic route. I don't know if you saw the Round Ball Rock video over the weekend. They're going to bring back player introductions. But they are also going to be using the voice of Jim Fagan, who was the original promo voice-over guy who said, "This is the NBA on NBC," before introducing the day's games. They're bringing him back. The only problem is he died in 2017. So he will not be doing these introductions live. NBC came to an agreement with his family to use an AI-generated version of his voice for this feature. Where do you sit with this? Like, does it feel weird to you? Does it feel cool to you? Does it feel like a slippery slope?
Using the phrase, using the intros, very cool. Using somebody who's no longer with us, it's like, it's great if you got his family's approval, but it's like, there's not live people who can do this.
Yeah.
I mean, did he copyright that and it went to the grave with him? I mean, come on, NBC, you've got plenty of people who work for you. You don't have somebody with a voice who could do this. This is the NBA on NBC. See how tough that was? Get a live person. And for all the college kids listening, using ChatGPT to do your papers, stop.
Did you see the New York Magazine article yesterday?
I read snippets and I want to go slap that kid. It's like, dude, if you're just here to find a spouse, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to come to college to learn something. We all have stints in our careers of college where we slept through classes, didn't go to classes, but by and large, I mean, it's like the degree that's on my wall, I earned that baby. So either it's not that hard. You're cheating. It's plagiarism to me. And maybe I'm just that old school, but using any kind of AI to do your work for you is cheating, and it's lazy. And I'm going to see that as a potential employer is, I ain't hiring you.
It's such an odd place that we're at right now. I saw somebody joke and be like, wow, it's going to be crazy when I'm the parent who's fine with my kid trying alcohol, fine with my kid trying to smoke. But God forbid if I catch them using AI instead of doing their own reading and writing. And like, it's all funny and games, but it is taking over. And like reading that article was very eye-opening because sometimes there's a disconnect between us of a certain age and the kids in the middle of it. And these kids seemingly, many kids, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but there's no longer an advantage to trying to learn yourself. Like if AI can do something in half the second, they're using that and instead focusing their energy on other things. And there is a middle ground. Like, of course, technology throughout the history of time has been about the improvement of lives of people and making things easier. But you can't just completely abandon intellectualism and a desire to learn. But it feels like that's where we're going.
But technology, for the most part, up until fairly recently, wasn't about like making it easier for us to think less, right? When we think about leaps in technology, it's usually something physical, right? Like, oh no, I'm tired of picking the cotton and then having to dig through the cotton to get the seeds out. Here comes the cotton gin. I'm tired of riding on horseback for 70, 80 miles. Oh, here comes the car. Well, I'm tired of driving in the car for that same 70, 80 miles. And that takes so much time. Well, here come planes, right? We're cutting down on physical things, right? Factory work. When we start automizing that, it is, all right, we're cutting down on the physical labor required to complete this task. Here recently, we've started cutting down on the mental labor required to complete tasks. We've cut down on thinking, and that's dangerous. When we do these things and have these leaps forward, at a certain point, it happens all the time in history. At a certain point, somebody steps in and is like, hey, ethically, is this cool?
Right.
Is what we're doing okay? And it doesn't feel like anybody is thinking ethically about the leaps we're making in technology right now. And that is dangerous.
We had the Tupac hologram at Coachella like over a decade ago. They could do it. Have we ever seen it again? No, but when I saw the NBC NBA thing using that guy's voice, I thought, we're going to merge back into this territory where there's no ethics. It's like, yes, please bring this person back from the dead. I don't want to speak inaccurately on the case, but a story popped up of a court case where a family was forced to listen to the voice of a dead relative that they did not choose to. They did not say they wanted this situation, but that voice got brought up in a court situation, and it was incredibly traumatic for them to have to hear.
Yes, they use that for victim witness statement by the victim who was dead.
Yes.
And it's like, I remember the day and age where you couldn't bring calculators into the classroom. You had to do the work yourself. And there's a difference between using something as a tool and using it as a replacement. And the problem is we're still young in AI and chat GPT and all this stuff that, who's back checking that to make sure it's accurate? I mean, I just also read a story that I know of a case where somebody's using chat GPT as kind of a free therapist. And it's like, that's great, but what is being fed into chat GPT? And then I read that chat GPT is just kind of feeding, making you feel better and better. Well, that's great, but if it's just an endless feedback loop of good things, that's the thing. What is being fed into it? There's no gates, there's no breaks, there's no, nothing, nobody checking the AI and chat GPT stuff to make sure that it's actually accurate. And it's like, whoo, baby, I'm sorry. Didn't we see Terminator, Skynet? Don't we know how this ends?
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, iRobot.
Yes.
Wasn't there another Terminator? Wasn't
What's
RoboCop?
that new one? Megan? Is that the one? Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. It's just really concerning.
It's bleak. It's really bleak.
The AI voice thing is one thing, but that article you guys are talking about is really concerning for me. What we're doing to or allowing to happen to younger people's minds right now, and how we are taking away their ability and their willingness to think critically about anything. The first thing they want to do, run to the phone.
Wall-E.
And Wall-E.
I immediately think of Wall-E and the people on their little, with the virtual sets, and they're sitting at the pool, but they don't have to do anything.
Those fat slobs.
And they're fat blobs.
They're fat blobs.
Yes.
And I will, other countries aren't doing this as much. I watched a story on kids in Japan, and 2-year-olds in Japan are being taught self-sufficient, they don't use a tablet. It's everything from trying to start to learn how to cook to learning different methods to tying your shoes when they're 2. And I'm like, oh my God, we're so cooked. We're so unbelievable.
Yeah, it's called raising intelligent human beings and with brains.
Self-sufficient. Yes.
Yes, my son got married last month, and I'm so proud of the fact that he helps clean their apartment. He helps shop for food. He does laundry. He does cooking on occasion. I mean, they do shared labor because guess what? That's what adulthood is. That's what you want to strive to achieve. And it's like, excuse me, we don't have Rosie the maid from the Jetsons to come and take care of stuff yet. And guess what? As dreary as it can be sometimes, I actually like cleaning my own refrigerator or shower.
Hey, CJ, just let it be noted to the robots, I would absolutely tip my robot maid. I would definitely tip my robot maid just to make sure that the robot maid was comfortable
40 weight?
with how I was treating her, him, them. Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Everything. Teresa, before I let you go, one light thing, because you said you were following the NHL playoffs, and the other very important NHL story, the Utah Hockey Club finally has their mascot. This has been a long-standing thing. It is the Mammoth, singular. Your thoughts? Because I thought, mascot-wise, Predators and Mammoth feel like they are a part of the same family. Am I wrong here?
No, you are. Predators hunt mammoth. What are you talking about?
No. But I mean, when you're birds, cats, these kind of beasts.
You putting birds and cats in the same family?
No, I'm putting them in different families.
Okay.
When you're making, if you were making a listicle and you're saying, tell me all mascots that are birds, and you would go eagles, falcons, etc. Now tell me all mascots that are cats.
Plurals.
Lions, tigers. Give me all mascots that are...
So give me all mascots that fit both the Predators and the
I don't know.
mammoth.
They're in their unique realm. That's my point.
I guess you could go prehistoric.
Yeah.
Ice Age.
Sure.
For me, they're in... Yeah, and somebody was pointing out yesterday that they're just a sloth away. Come on, somebody make that happen of, finishing up the Ice Age trio. But for me, it fits into 2 categories: Magic, Heat, Thunder, Mammoth, Tide, Crimson Tide, all plural names, but they're singular, and that's the thing that drives me crazy. So I'll be referring to Utah an awful lot. But Mammoth will, according to AP Style, the last time I checked, will be treated as a plural because it's referring to the players. And so they could have saved us all a lot of trouble if they'd just gone the Utah Mammoths with an S.
I think they could have saved everyone trouble if they'd just gone with the Yeti. I don't understand. That was one of their final options. It was the Yeti, the Outlaws. I know there was some problem with it, but it would have been so cool. A Yeti would have been a pretty cool mascot.
It would have been. I wanted Yeti.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I will say this. I do love the logo because it's got the Wasatch Mountains in it. And if you've ever been to Utah, those mountains are very much part of Salt Lake in Utah and a great place to ski.
Well, my only issue with it is the Colorado Mammoth was the pro lacrosse team. I think it still is the pro lacrosse team in Colorado that I grew up with. It still exists. So they already had one, but it's okay.
Well, that's the problem. We've got a lot of nicknames. We're running out of them. It's tough to be original.
I have to go to AI. Teresa, thanks so much for joining us as always. We'll see you next week. Bye. That was Teresa Walker. You can find all her latest at the Associated Press. We have to take a quick break. When we come back, we are drafting the most nerve-wracking things in sports, the things that drive the most nerves. I came to this conclusion that we would draft this today watching Jalen Brunson go to the line with 2 free throws. And I said, I would literally poop my pants if I had to go to the line and take 2 free throws in that situation. So we will be drafting those when we come back.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
I got some Cam Ward news for you, by the way.
Let me hear it.
You talk about being able to sell some jerseys. 7 minutes ago at his introductory press conference in Nashville, Warren Moon walks in. I give you permission to wear number 1.
Oh, wow.
He hands him the number 1 jersey.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm going to give you permission to wear number 1. So he's going to have the number 1 Cam Ward jersey.
That's amazing.
We're rocking the Cam Ward number 1 Titans jersey.
That's amazing.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
This week, we're going to run down the hits and the misses from WrestleMania 41.
The main event, NXT title on the line, Obafemi versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. One of the greatest triple threat matches I've ever seen in my life.
I'm shocked.
And it made history because it's the first time there's 3 black men highlighting the NXT pay-per-view.
Okay.
That was dope too.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
How about Mr. Irrelevant coming from the Memphis Tigers? Yeah, how about that? New England Patriots
Second
took
time.
Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor with the 257th overall pick.
If you're the player getting drafted at that spot, it's almost better to go undrafted and pick a place as an undrafted free agent to sign with where you have a better chance
But
of
you get a
sticking.
lot of stuff. You get a parade. I think
do?
you go to Disneyland, I believe.
Mr. Irrelevant goes to Disney?
I think so.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
We're going to do our pick 6 favorite Outkast songs in honor of Outkast being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Elevators is the most creative.
You you.
Yes. Your mama and your cousin too.
Every time I hear somebody say me
Sitting
and
on
you, I
just go to the next one, right?
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
All right, welcome back. It's Thursday. It's draft day. We are drafting most nerve-wracking things in sports, the most nerve-wracking, puke-inducing moments if you were participating in professional sports that you think would be the worst of those feelings. Can we get a horse race, a duck race, a whatever race? I never know what we're going to get.
Can we
these
race
days.
Yetis?
Yetis?
We're back
to
on ducks.
And my duck doesn't even have a hat. Okay, well, now I'm an
Reindeer
astronaut.
duck.
I'm Katy Perry.
Oh my gosh, you're going to space.
I'm going to space.
What song are you singing in space? Oh, I win this one. All right, number one.
I see trees of green.
Is that what you're singing in space?
Red roses too. Wow. That's unfortunate. Reindeer duck.
Yeah, that's how it always goes.
All right,
you
go
know
for it.
I will take first soccer penalty kick, like soccer shootout penalty kick. Being the keeper or the kicker, every time I watch that, oh my gosh, I have knots in my tummy. My stomach is turning flips. And I only watch it probably World Cup or Olympics, and it's never my team, or even when it is my team, like Alyssa Nair. Oh my gosh. Take the hat off for the GOAT. Like, I don't know how the hell you play keeper and you're one of the people to take the shot. My knees would be quaking. My knees would tremble. There's no way I could have the lower body calmness necessary to kick that ball or to save or to get a save. Give me soccer penalties.
Okay, that's a great one. Give me game-winning field goal or extra point because the second you have one of those, the entirety of the rest of the game is forgotten. And if you miss that kick, you are the most hated man or woman, but man, of that fan base. They want you dead. We have an entire categorization of college kickers, hashtag college kickers. There they go again. But anytime it happens, professionally, collegiately, in high school, kickers are already deemed as not important members of the team or lesser important members of the team. There's a lot of hate for the kickers internally as well, and then it goes external. So the pressure that those men deal with in that moment has to be at the highest of the heights.
That's a good one. That one would be in my top 5, absolutely. 3-2 count in baseball. First off, my hand-eye speed is not there, was never there. So stepping into that batter's box on a 3-2, it's like, oh, please pit it outside. Please don't make me swing this bat. And it would drive my father insane. Because if it's close and you don't swing, you're out of there. And then I'm ready to argue with the umpire. My father's ready to choke me out because, like, swing the bat. Don't leave your fate into somebody else's hand. The way that you have to focus on a 3-2 pitch just to make sure that I'm not swinging at something that is, because they'll try and trick you. Those pitches are a tricky bunch. They'll try and throw some slider that breaks low into the dirt or throw a curveball that curves either outside or inside to jam you up. I just hate being in a 3-2 count position. My heart would beat so fast and everything would go gray on a 3-2 count. I hated it. 3-2 count. That's up there.
I will go with the action that made me want to do this draft. Game winning or tying free throws, game on the line free throws. Free throws can cause generational trauma. Just ask the Memphis Tigers fan base. Just ask the entire city of Memphis.
I thought about that, but nobody's trying to stop you from making free throws.
And that is what makes them
so
it's just you. They're free. It's in the name. They're like, here's points. They're gifted. They're so gifted to you that they're free 99. And if you dare to miss, and last night I was reminded, you probably didn't see this because you didn't watch the game, Mitchell Robinson had one of the worst airballed free throws. It can happen. It can absolutely happen. You don't see it often. They're professionals. Usually if you miss a free throw, it's done in a off the rim, too hard, just a little short, not a full-on air ball. But imagine the most important game of your life. Just the idea that you could airball a free throw and be ridiculed for that is enough where I'd be super nervous.
Again, nobody's trying to stop you. So I don't
you
have
versus your mind.
I
CJ.
don't that one wouldn't make my top 50, I don't think. And like golf, there's some golf things that
I've
I
got
hear.
another one.
But if nobody's trying to stop you and it's just you versus yourself, like you got to be a bit mentally tougher. How about this one? Maybe not so much now. Not maybe, definitely not so much now, and maybe not at all now. But being a wide receiver and going over the middle, get out of here. Ain't no way. Them dudes them dudes in the 2000s and the 90s, and God bless you, if you did it in the 80s, 70s, 60s, no. The way we were hitting dudes, the way we were laying dudes the F out, going over the middle, nah, man. If I was a wide receiver, I'd absolutely, you call that pass route, I'm like, hey, I'm cramping up, dog. Get me out of the game. Ain't no way in hell I'm going over the middle. So a safety could come down and pummel me while a linebacker takes my legs out? Hell, and might I add, no. That is terrifying for me.
I won't take this, but on my list was like having a 300-pound linebacker run at you. Like just understanding like your life is over. Like you're about to suffer just a nauseatingly gross hit. Yeah. I will take a 6-foot match-winning putt because you say you got to be mentally tougher. We see it happen all the time. The yips exist for a reason in multiple sports. It is you, it is the ball, it is the cup, and too often we see someone completely crumble in that moment.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it. It's something you do all the time and again, especially in golf. Nobody is making any noise. You could argue, all right, free throws on the road
against the
wall.
The
crowd is going crazy, so that can be a little anxious for you. But in golf, everybody has to shut the hell up. You walk that damn green how many times? Your ball lands, and you just kind of walk around and bop them back. You do this thing, and you pop back up, and you do this thing again, and you pop back up, and then you just got to step 6 feet. You just step up.
It's so interesting. You say it so simply.
Because it is simple.
That's Rory.
I play putt-putt.
He's exercised the demon, but
I play putt-putt. It's simple.
Okay.
Being a defender in basketball and somebody's hot. Being the primary defender on a hot player. Because there's nothing that you can do. You can see them see you, but see through you. Like you know you don't matter. Yeah. And you know there's nothing you can do to stop them. But you got to go out there and do something. And it's like, yo, maybe please pass the ball. Please give it up. Please, oh, please, oh, please give it up. And I'm going to do my damnedest not to let you get it back. I can't imagine Steph Curry gets going. The anxiety that creates for the primary defender. Just like, oh, here we go. It's my turn now. What am I supposed to do with this? So being the primary defender on a dude who's hot.
Okay. I'm going to go with overtime. Just the entire concept.
The entire concept of overtime. Nobody specifically. Okay.
Playoff overtime.
Okay.
And extra specifically, hockey playoff overtime.
Okay, so there we go. So you're not taking all of overtime. You're taking playoff hockey overtime. Gotcha.
Sure. But I want to be clear. I think all overtime is stressful because you've just played the entirety of the game you were supposed to play, and you're tired, and you're exhausted, both physically, mentally, everything, and you have an extra period you have to play. But the specific of playoff hockey overtime is one goal ends it. It's like penalty kicks, but with everybody out there playing the same sport that you've played the entire time and just going for one goal, and that's it. All of everything on the line in that extra frame. It's so stressful. It makes you feel like you want to throw up all over yourself.
That's a good one. That is a good one. I will go last pick. There's a lot of caveats to it, and we can't put them all up there because we got a limited amount of space. But I will just say, 9th inning, relief pitcher, game-winning run on third. Right? Like that's, especially if you're the one, if you came in with a lead and then you gave up the game tying run and now you got the game winning run on third, nah, man. The way I would crumble in that, I would be tearing up in that situation, getting me the F off of the mound. I want no part of this. Please, oh, please, oh, please. So, yeah, give me that.
I'm going to go super specific with my last one. I'm an NFL player. My team has a lead. I am on the sidelines, and I am watching Patrick Mahomes with the ball in his hand. And there's nothing you can do. And you just have to watch and feel the stress and the anxiety of the probability that you are going to lose. Now, this lost a little bit of its luster after the last Super Bowl, but they just got crushed. It wasn't like there was an opportunity. It's a late game situation where you have a single score lead and Patrick Mahomes has the ball in his hand.
Is there another quarterback where...
No, it's not the same thing. That's why it's so different.
It wasn't that way for Brady for you?
I mean...
It wasn't that way with Manning for you?
It feels different to me.
Okay.
There's a confidence level with Brady. There's a confidence level with Manning.
But neither one of them felt inevitable. Like, okay, this game is
and just like
over.
stupid inevitable.
Yeah.
Like
it doesn't matter how much time is on the clock.
Like, everything is going to go wrong, and yet somehow they're going to score. That's where it's different with Patrick Mahomes. Maybe it's also the cast around it a variety of times.
We've seen him do it a whole lot of different ways. Didn't he? What was the one when there were like 34 seconds left, no timeouts, got the win? Yeah, that's a good one. I had taken the baton.
Yeah,
I had that one. That was honorable mention for me. Almost went with that one. For
I had the
400
meter because if you talk to any runner, they'll say that's the most stressful run.
Yeah,
just the endurance piece of it, the mental piece of it. I put the beam in gymnastics.
That damn beam.
But I couldn't take another person versus their brain. I guess the beam is the defender in that case.
That's different. That beam is something special. That beam is different. Yeah.
Receiving a serve from someone like a Serena Williams.
Just no, as
receiving a serve.
As a tennis professional, receiving a serve is some different stuff, man.
I can't wait to watch you play tennis someday.
One day you come out. One day I'm gonna get some action videos next match. I'm gonna make my wife come and take videos of me fumbling, bumbling, stumbling about.
We're going to take a break. We'll come back. A little Theater Thursday, some movie news from the week. CJ saw Thunderbolts. He'll give his review. We both watched the Oklahoma City bombing documentary on Netflix. We'll discuss that. There's a new Disney park coming in the most bizarre place that you could imagine. All of that when we come back.
With a knockaway. Good defense. Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting. That's no show. Let's go. Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
The other thing that came out this week that we were talking about innovation and Nike and all that. They dropped these $900 hyper boots that
900.
I mean, they're a recovery shoe apparently that you wear after sports, whatever.
Who's buying it? Because all the athletes that we see, they're gonna get seated this. So who's gonna actually pay $900 for this?
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
I thought Penny was smart to handle this the way he handled it. He expressed frustration with the system, the chaotic nature of it. The price hike on eggs ain't got nothing on the price hike on basketball players. The same dude who cost you $150,000 last summer is costing you $500,000 right now. I understand his sentiment, but he stopped well short of criticizing PJ Haggerty.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
How about Mr. Irrelevant coming from the Memphis Tigers? Yeah, how about that? New England Patriots
Second
took
time.
Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor with the 257th overall pick.
If you're the player getting drafted at that spot, it's almost better to go undrafted and pick a place as an undrafted free agent to sign with where you have a better chance
But
of
you get a
sticking.
lot of stuff. You get a parade. I
They
think you
do?
go to Disneyland, I believe.
Mr. Irrelevant goes to Disney?
I think so.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We talked a little bit about Jalen Wells. Jalen Wells, man, he finished third in the balloting for NBA Rookie of the Year. He's going to be back. He's going to play in Summer League, and maybe he'll shoot some left-handed jumpers out there. Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back on this Thursday, a little Theater Thursday movie news to end today's show. CJ and I both watched the Oklahoma City bombing documentary on Netflix. CJ watched it first and recommended it to me, and I'm very glad that you did because I thought it was a meaningful watch and something that happened in a period of time where I was too young. You had some sort of conscious memory of it.
This is my snap into, this was...
Like bad things happen in the world.
Yes, many people around our age will say, oh, 9/11 was that for me. But I remember vividly being in school and how, for lack of a better phrase, this is way too immature of a phrase, way too sophomoric of a phrase, but how literally freaked out the adults around me were about this thing happening. And I knew it at the time, and then over time you kind of forget about things, and I'm glad we got this documentary. But it was because this happened not just at a government building, which is one thing, but there was a daycare there. There was a daycare with babies and toddlers there. And it happened there. And as a person who was fresh off of the toddler's stage, right? I'm around 5 or 6 years old. I went to daycare, and it's like, oh, somebody could harm me who doesn't know me for no real rhyme or reason. My parents did a real good job when I was around that age of talking to me about the civil rights era and about the history of Black people and my people in America. And so I understood, like I knew about Birmingham bombings, I knew about lynchings, I knew about the violence and the terrorist acts of the Ku Klux Klan. I knew about those types of things. But for me at that age, that seemed like ages ago. It's like, oh yeah, I'm glad we're done with that. I got little white kids in my class now. We don't ever have to worry about that type of stuff. And then this happened. I was like, oh no. Like, it's still around.
Yeah.
It's still happening. Not saying that this wasn't racially motivated or anything like that. I'm just saying the act of terror in this nation, I thought was done, was gone. And at 5 or 6 years old, I realized, oh no, it's still here.
When was the Atlanta Olympics bombing? Was that after
96.
this? So this is 95.
Yep.
That was 96.
Yep.
I was like 4. I was 3 in 95, 4 in 96. So it makes sense why this didn't hit. What I was shocked as somebody who really enjoyed history, both world history and U.S. history, I don't feel like I had a very effective lesson on the Oklahoma City bombing, so much so that, honest to God, a couple months ago after the Luigi Mangione case, he had referenced, or someone had found his like Goodreads list, and he had read the manifesto of the Unabomber. And I went through the majority of my life thinking that the Unabomber was the Oklahoma City bombing and thinking that those two things were the same. Clearly they were not. I also didn't really understand Waco until I watched a documentary on that last year. I don't think we do a very good job. And maybe it was just my specific time of being in school and that now there would be a more filled out chapter. I don't think we learn history, like immediate history, very well.
There's a limit on when history becomes actual history. So when we're in school, like that's not history.
Right.
That's just something that
Recency.
happened. That's just something that happened. Now I think that it both, because I didn't understand Waco fully until that documentary last year when we watched it and talked about it. But now I think both Waco and the Oklahoma City bombing are actual, everybody would consider them actual history. I also think that 9/11 now we're considering actual history, and I
But
feel
the
like
children don't know. Columbine is actual history now.
we're getting to the point to where we're beginning to move off of the emotion behind these things. Days of remembrance for these type things, and actually beginning to teach, hey, this is what happened. You don't have to teach the Oklahoma City bombing in 2002, 2003, because everybody lived it. We all know what happened. We lived through it. Well, now it's enough time has passed. Everybody didn't live through it, especially the children. And honestly, the teachers, some of the younger teachers didn't live through it. So now, okay, here's what happened. Let's lay this out there and let's teach it.
But I also don't think we as a country do a very good job, because this is still the through line of the Oklahoma City bombing through to Waco is something that still exists today. It's people who feel as if their threat to bear arms, the Second Amendment, is going to be a topic in this conversation forever, or in this country forever and always. The constitutional right to bear arms, and a certain group of people being so concerned with government overreach in not just taking away their weapons, but punishing them, and viewing Waco as a punitive effort by the larger government and the authorities that took it into their hands to go in, and ultimately many people died at Waco. And the Oklahoma City bombing was a result of people, a small group, who thought that they needed to send a message that that's not okay. And I don't know, I just think we do ourselves a disservice to not pretend like, oh, well, this event happened and there's absolutely no level of relevancy that still exists where we are now.
How do you, not where I thought this conversation was going to go.
I mean, neither.
But how do you teach that in the moment?
I don't know.
Because you're not making grown-ups go to school anymore, right? So if I'm 28 when Waco happened, that makes me in my 30s, close to 30, or freshly 30 when the Oklahoma City bombing happens. I'm well done with my education. So how do you then go about teaching me that? Because then it is me who, as the grown up in my family, the head of my household, as a man or a woman, I'm now teaching it this way to my kids. And it's so recent that it's not being taught in history classes. So then my kids grow up and now they're young adults now. And that is what they know to believe is to be the true thing. How do we teach this effectively? And to me, it's all about the media, how the media covers these types of events. But we've done such a great job of degrading media respectability, accountability, and belief in what they're saying to be true, that you can't even lean on them anymore as a source of an accurate portrayal of major world events.
Well, I want to add a layer to it. I think we've also flooded the game. That's such a trite way to flooded the game where these things don't matter as much, because then you're watching this and you think, well, when was our last domestic terrorist event? Well, school shootings and mass shootings have become our version of domestic terrorism that we've lived through, or at least the ones that seemingly make the biggest headlines. But those headlines gain less and less importance. Chris and I started talking about the person who took their car and ran it through Bourbon Street on New Year's. I couldn't tell you a single thing. But in the old days, something would happen and you would spend a significant amount of time marinating in that story, learning new pieces of that story, and now it's very much a move to the next.
I will push back on that just a tad.
Okay.
If it happens outside of football or some other major pop culture event, right? Like the reason I 100% feel the reason we don't talk about the car attack in New Orleans and the bombing
2 days later
and the bombing in Las Vegas is because we're like, okay, yeah, that's sad. When them Bulldogs gonna play, right? Like that's why we are Britain Circus. You know, we can be entertained and that can lend itself to us as a collective, myself included, not paying attention to the important things that we need to be paying attention to. I think if that happened, if somebody drove through New Orleans, through Bourbon Street or on Beale Street, if there was a terrorist act, and it wasn't, and it was in the summertime, we would absolutely be talking about that for weeks because nothing else is happening. Throw in the Nashville bombing.
How about the plane crash that we just had? That plane crash?
Which one?
The one over the Potomac. The one in D.C., the plane crash with the helicopter.
Okay, because there was another helicopter crash also.
Yeah, but that one was a commercial airline.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to boil it down to this,
Well-
but that could happen to any one of us boarding a commercial flight any given day. And when something like that, like I'm talking about this from the scope of massive events. Now we've moved on from domestic terrorism to shooting and everything. But just the way that we handle what previously would have been deemed as like a nation stops, and this takes a lot. I would know the stories. There would be a People magazine cover with all the people who died on that plane and their family stories, and you would be thinking about it, and it would be continuous on the news. And instead, it's barely a blip, and we're continuing to have some pretty significant travel news. I mean, what's happening in Newark right now is insane, where you have air traffic control officers who are on trauma leave because there was 90 seconds where they just went completely dark for a day. And so everything happens so fast that you're not able to sit in a heavy reflection period. And like watching the documentary on the Oklahoma City bombing, I mean, the people who were talking, one of the sources was a reporter from the Dallas Morning News. This happened in Oklahoma City. And in the old days, you would have national reporters working at local papers, and everybody would end up in the area. I mean, I remember when Columbine happened, we had reporters from all over the world sitting in Littleton, Colorado for months trying to continue to comb through the story. And I feel like we get less of that. And as a result of that, obviously it's every layer that we just talked about, from desensitization to the media not having the same role that it did at that time, to our attention span.
Especially local media.
Yeah.
Right. They're talking to, while showing clips of national media, ABC News, CBS News, they are talking to the local media that was on the ground from all over the southwestern region. And to your point, I think I didn't think about this, but you're right. We're not equipped to do that from a local media standpoint now. If something pops off major in Little Rock, right? I'm not sure if as local media we could get somebody from Jackson, Mississippi, from Memphis, from Nashville.
You're all part of a conglomerate, and so you'd call your reporter in that place and be like, "Hey, can you send us your file story from this?"
And that's it. And that's the concerning part. So to answer the question that I had previously, how do you teach it?
Yeah.
A strong media teaches that. And things are, with the emergence of 764, I don't know if you've followed any of that. That's some stuff coming out here. For those of you who don't know, that's a group that is targeting kids to go out and commit acts of terror, school shootings, bomb threats, actual bombings.
They're like a neo-Nazi, right?
I'm not sure what they are. Okay. I don't think they are here either. I think they are overseas, and the way it works is
it's an online group.
It's an online group, and they end up talking to kids on social media or on gaming apps when they got the headphones in, and in one case, they convinced a young lady that they were boyfriend, girlfriend, and convinced her to tell them everything that she knew about the school she was at so that they could make the bomb threat. And so with her help, they made a pretty significant bomb threat, a pretty credible bomb threat. And police were able to figure it out and stop it. But next time might not be so lucky, right? Like, these are, to your point about acts of terror and how we perceive them over here. These are things that have become a part of everyday life in America, but they've always been American. They've always been here. We make terrorists over here.
Right.
We don't.
The documentary does a both horrific but perfect job of showing the community of Oklahoma City realizing that it is a white dude who ultimately was the bomber, because the assumption for them was that it was somebody of Middle Eastern descent, and the amount of racism that's loaded in them calling in a tip line and being like, well, I saw my neighbor dressed in this traditional garb running away, and I don't know, something real shady was going on. And it just shows how, I mean, obviously we lived it in the post 9/11, or at least consciously lived it more in post 9/11, but hearing some of those quotes was wild. but understandable for the time period. Forever for the country.
Understandable for what America is at its core.
Yes.
We're America at its core is we don't do that in our community.
Right.
As that is actively being done in your community. How many times do we see school shooting going back to that? And the first thing somebody says is, hey, this isn't supposed to happen here. We don't do that type of stuff here.
Yeah.
It's like, no, very clearly you do. Very clearly, school shootings are just a part of what we do over here. We make school shooters over here, just like we make terrorists over here. Ask somebody black who lived through the 50s about terrorism in America. I'm sure they can tell you some things about it. So for us, what the documentary does a good job of to that point is saying, no, like, we do a good job.
Yeah.
We do a good job. Also, we talked about this. It was so easy for them to do it.
Terrifying.
It was so easy for them to do it. Just say, all right, this week we're going to go to this city and buy these things for the bomb. And then next week we're going to go to this other city and buy these things for the bomb. And then next week we're going to go to this other city and buy these things for the bomb. And then we're going to build the bomb and we're just going to drive it, set it up, and blow the building to smithereens. Like that wasn't complicated. And
they were so lucky to catch.
So if he had tags on his cars,
McVeigh.
he's gone. They're gone at that point. They're gone. There's no way. I can't think of a way for officials to figure out who did it and to piece it together. And as somebody, I don't know which moment hit you the most with, oh no, I'm finna break down on this. Was there a
mine
moment?
was, I did not know that there was a nursery at the building. So the continued story of the mom trying to find her kid and her ultimately being able to recover his body and just being so grateful that there was a body to recover and just her gratitude that there was a body.
And
then also
same
her
mom?
Yes,
That
I know
same
exactly where
mom?
you're going.
Sitting
wanted
outside,
to kill that man.
sitting outside the jail cell trying to figure out a way in.
Yeah.
And you can't blame her.
Yes.
You can't.
But then also her, like the epilogue and finding out that she ended up having another son, and that son was born on the same birthday as her son who died in the Oklahoma City bombing. The woman who completely changed her life around, you see the version of her that was at work that day. She gets trapped under the rubble, tells a story of basically being at risk of being buried alive because she lived through the actual explosion and people had to come get her, and there's a hiccup in the middle of it where she thought she was going to be rescued and then they all had to leave, and so then was she going to have to continue to be there and die, and she like prays and says, I'll never live my life the same way, and you see all that she's accomplished since. Just the notion of these people who get through these tragic events, and tragic event it seems too small to say, like a monumental tragedy that we seemingly cannot imagine, and then hearing from them all these years later. I did wonder, we get documentaries like really quickly these days, which is nice from somebody who's interested in finding the ins and outs of newsy stories, and I guess maybe that's our version of heavy news coverage, is getting a quick docuseries on something, and by quick I mean like a year or 2 years later. But I appreciated the amount of time that had passed because I felt like it added a sincere layer to everything. And also, I don't know if those people could have spoken about it any earlier. Like, it feels like something that they have had to work towards being able to reflect on. You're not able to just go to them a year later and say, hey, take me back to that day and walk me through it. I think you got more details.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The lynching is historically has been real prominent in this nation. They were going to lynch that dude.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, hey, listen, just let him go out the back. He ran away. We'll deal with it from there. And the feds was like, whoa, wait a minute.
It is our responsibility.
Thank you, but no. But in that moment, all right, I'm like, yeah, listen, man, I get it. I'm not, we don't talk about death penalty a whole lot on this show. I really don't rock with it.
But you're the furthest right person on the show.
But like, yo, this dude had it come. He earned it.
Yeah.
He earned it. And there was never going to be any remorse from him. And he wasn't remorseful when it happened, real pragmatic about it. Like, yeah, I did it. And we were supposed to start fighting because of that. And that's the thing where teaching this would be most beneficial, because you think you're taking this big old stand against the government, and you think that, all right, this is going to be the catalyst for us to get some stuff popping over here. And people like, no, you tripping.
Mm-hmm.
You a wild one for that.
Went a little far.
No, we're not doing that.
No group came out and took credit for it. Like, nah, it's just these 3 dudes.
No.
And one of them gave up on his other 2 friends so that he could get a lesser sentence and is in witness protection program to this day.
Yeah, no. So, yes, sad.
Anyway, I recommend it. It was a good watch.
Oh, it'll be
Good
when we
documentary.
do the year in review
You'll
stuff.
remember it.
This will be one on my top 5 movies.
Interesting.
Yeah, easy.
All right.
Easy.
I know what won't be on your top 5 movies,
won't.
and just because I said you talk about it, I know you have
won't.
very brief. Give me a quick 120 seconds on your Thunderbolts review.
Go see it because people love it.
Mm-hmm.
Right now is one of the highest rated movies, Marvel movies on Rotten Tomato. I don't judge my movies based on what critical people say. I
Certainly
sit down.
not the tomatoes.
I sit down. I watch that junk, and I let you know what I think. I think that it's a relatable movie. What Marvel fans seem to have been clamoring for is a more human component to the MCU. They're tired of super strong people doing super strong things. They're tired of people in outer space or species in outer space doing outer space things. They want more of those human stories being told, and this one tells those human stories. It's a story about grief. It's a story about battling depression, and in Mental Health Awareness Month, no less, this is the perfect month for that movie to come out. And if you've got those types of things going on, if you're interested in those types of things, and I think most people are, you'll love this movie. And I'm not being trite. I'm not being speaking down on the movie, but it is basically in a nutshell. And I love this movie. What's the Brat Pack movie we were talking about?
Breakfast Club.
It is Breakfast Club, but with superheroes, right? It's that type of stuff going on. Okay? I hated it. I disliked that movie so very, very much. People are saying this is the best one since Endgame, post-Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. I didn't enjoy it at all. But that's because I don't relate to those types of things. And I'm aware enough to say that, and I don't want to come down on anybody who can. You'll love it. I think most of the people, GCM will love it. I think Gary Parrish will love it. I think Bennett would love it. I think Rose would love it. I think Lang would love it. I think the director, Jacob, would love it. Both the Jacobs would love it. I think everybody would absolutely love sitting down and watching this movie. And if you are a casual MCU fan, go back and watch Black Widow just to get a feel for some of the grief that is caused by one of the main characters in this movie, and understand that while you hadn't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp, and while you may not have seen Falcon in the Winter Soldier, you've seen that movie, Black Widow, and all of them have that storyline attached to them. It's a group of misfits, a group of people who have done really bad things in their life, oftentimes against their will, trying to come together for a greater good, and none of them can fly. None of them are super strong. They're all out there, misfits, doing the best that they can to try and make a name for themselves and to be a bit better today than they were yesterday.
I'm really curious. I had no plans to see this movie.
Go see it.
And then everyone starts talking about it. Like, all right, I'll go see it. I have one question, and then we'll come back to this next Theater Thursday because I'll have seen it because we're going to see it. What do you think my thoughts on The Breakfast Club are? Like, just your guess. Like, first take, what would you think I think of The Breakfast Club?
I think everybody loves The Breakfast Club.
I hate The Breakfast Club.
You hate The Breakfast Club?
It's one of my weird...
Really?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
care for it.
All right.
Those 80s movies, like all of them. It's not that I didn't like them. Breakfast Club I actually just don't really like.
Okay.
Like Pretty in Pink, Say Anything.
Got you.
Trying to think of other ones.
See, I don't like those.
16 Candles.
I don't like those. I love The Breakfast Club. I think Breakfast Club is a good portrayal of the teenage experience from a truly emotional a place.
I prefer 10 Things I Hate About You.
Well, that's
and Mean Girls.
Those are also good movies.
Can't think of other teen movies.
Those are also good ones.
Yeah.
Mean Girls is. I don't know about 10 Things I Hate About You, but Mean Girls is.
They're doing a remake of 10 Things I Hate About You, and it makes me really annoyed.
Oh no.
It's a perfect movie. Why are we remaking perfect? Anyway, I will see Thunderbolts this weekend. That'll do it for today's show. Darn, you missed out on my book review of the book I finished yesterday that I added to Theater Thursday because it's also a movie.
Okay, we'll do it next
Social
week.
movie.
Like we're still gonna do this show next week,
Are
Jessica.
we? I saw you in the chat today. I don't know the future. I don't know what's coming next.
Shout out to
I
what's her
have
name?
no
What's her
idea.
name? What was her name in the
Sharon.
chat? Shout out to Sharon.
Shout
in
out
the
to
chat.
Sharon.
Only the Sharon in the chat, not our mom Sharon's, but
No,
but,
no, certainly not.
Shout out to all the Sharons on National Dakota Day.
One NBA game tonight, 7:30 tip, which we love. Warriors, Timberwolves. Who you taking, CJ, on our way out?
Warriors.
I think I am too. I am feeling the Warriors defense. We will see if they are able to go up 2-0 in Minnesota. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about it all. Lang Whitaker will join us. It'll be a Friday. Can't wait. We'll see you then. Bye.
I really do think you'll like this.
I love Florence Pugh, so I'm already up one.
Who's Florence Pugh?
The main girl.
Okay.
She's like one of my favorite actresses right now.
Florence Pugh?